I think you should also throw in, I mean, the mug is nice, the sticker's good, Ahmed's wife's T-shirts, I'm sure are awesome. African geese.
Yeah, you can have them.
Set it down there.
Jeez.
You get a mug and this goose.
And the goose, yes,
Yeah.
right. Oh, I won't wish that on anybody. Even if you guess my top 10 perfectly, we will not be sending you one of the African geese in my house, okay? That will not happen. We're not going to torture you that way, okay? It's a full-time job taking care of these damn geese, and they're noisy, all right? So I'm still stuck with them. They are getting a little bit better. They're getting more comfortable.
Okay.
They kind of just hang out in one area of the yard a little bit. They're like a little scared to venture. I think they're starting to see the chickens who walk everywhere, and they're like, let's get out there a little bit with these guys.
That won't serve them well. Look at my house as an example.
I know. It might not. Now, again, like I've told you before, we got the big dog that's running around,
that
too.
Helps.
So it's definitely helped us.
Yeah.
And these things are supposed to – I mean, this is a big bird. Like, this is a big bird. Like you would think like even a fox might go, I don't know about that. I'm not
twice
sure.
about it?
Coyote, okay, yes.
Yeah.
But a fox, I think, would be like, he's bigger than me. I'm not sure I can handle this. So that's what they're kind of handy for, at least for now.
We're experiencing some trickle down foul effects at our house from the chicken massacre we had last weekend.
Right.
So we have one left, and she is so stressed out. She's laying eggs that are like smaller than like a golf ball. And we Googled it. They do this when they're really upset.
They're herd animals. They like to be part of the pack, right?
Yeah.
So that's
so
an
she
issue.
either is thinking about watching all of her friends get killed, or she's like, where is everybody?
Exactly.
I'm lonely. So we have eggs that are, it's like hail.
Yeah,
tiny
that's
little
funny.
things.
That's funny. I know. Yeah, it is. It can be affected by that.
Maybe your African geese would like them for a snack.
I mean, maybe. I don't think they seem to just want to eat grass. That's all I know so far. We've tried to give them other things. They could care less about it. So that's where we are. And yes, we won't be giving you any geese if you do guess the Chris Simms top 10 correctly. We've got great entries, and we'll hit all that soon because we're getting close.
We are.
To the top 10, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a good one today. We got 16 to 13 today, right? Am I right about that? Yes, it's those four. 16 to 13.
Yes.
My addition and subtraction is at a elementary level still here.
The groupings of four have thrown me.
Yeah, but we're going to get into something today. I mean, it's an interesting group right here.
Yeah.
This is some really good quarterbacks.
Yes.
Established, and not a lot of question marks about this group here, and we'll break it down because it's pretty nuanced as far as picking apart these four guys right here.
Is it safe to say that we've hit this space of your quarterback ranking where the, I guess, poor and average are well behind us? The great is still out ahead.
Yeah.
We're in this area where you may not love this certain quarterback,
right?
But these guys are all either good or really good.
Yes, I think we're getting to that area for sure. Where you could sit here, and I think the guys we even talk about today, even though they might not be the sexiest, I'm still going to go, no, this is still a franchise quarterback,
right?
And you're not going to just let this guy, out the door for nothing,
right?
You don't want to do that. And I would even argue again, even with just what we saw, if you're watching on YouTube, that little graphic there that just showed Baker Mayfield and Mac Jones, I would really say right there is almost where I would start to go. At least from Mac Jones to Baker Mayfield and above, I feel like we have a list of guys where I go, I know what I'm getting from that crew.
Okay.
At least I know what they are.
Yeah.
They can improve on some things, but I'm pretty sure what they are. Yeah, I'd like to see Mac Jones' arm get a little stronger, but I know what he is.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield, I know he's got incredible big-time arm talent and some really special things. He's just got to be a little bit more, consistently accurate and just take a little of that gunslinger mentality out of his game. But, I know what he is. To where I would say the guys below that are still like, I'm not sure if I trust him or what he is or his leadership skills or what he's going to do under pressure, or he's young rookie that he's got potential, but I got to see it first a little bit here, a little more to be able to throw him up into this group of guys here. So I think that's where we're at in this little grouping today.
I like to think about it in terms of tiers and lines of demarcation and driving in, thinking about the guys you're going to address today versus the ones that you already have. So Baker Mayfield was the last one. He's at 17.
Yeah.
Baker, could he have shown up at 16 or 13, or do you feel like we've hit a spot where there's a big gap, or at least a significant one between these four guys and Baker?
No, I don't. I think Baker could easily, again, last year's a tough year to evaluate and some of that. And again, I think with Baker too, there's effect on the team and leadership, but also there seems to be a little bit of a negative effect there too. I think if we're going to be real about it, but Baker Mayfield, I think we could sit here and go, no, if there's just a little nuances he can clean up in his game, he can be above. His talent is greater than some of these guys we're going to talk about today.
And a lot of times his production has been too.
It is. I mean, again, Baker Mayfield last year, it was a few spots above where he was this past year as far as being ahead of 17. And again, not that I care about where last year or anything like that, but Baker Mayfield has the type of talent and he has an arm for me to be top 10-ish. All right. I don't know if he'll ever be top 5-ish, but he has I think the top 10-ish, or if he was 9, 10, 11, I could see him hunkering down there for a number of years with the type of talent he has, as long as he continues to grow a little with the things we discussed a minute ago, just decision-making, refine the mechanics a little bit. That's the one thing when you go back and Baker Mayfield, it's just too many balls of, I'm going to throw it as hard as I can, and feet and arms and everything are all over the place, and you're just like, that ain't gonna work every throw by throw here in the NFL. It's little stuff like that he's got to clean up, but there's a lot of good to his game too.
So we're a little ways away from the Final Four, but we do have the next four. 16 through 13. Y'all ready to get rolling?
Let's get it rolling there, Mr. Brown shirt guy with the button down today.
I think it's black.
Is it black? I
couldn't
couldn't tell. I was gonna ask you that. I wasn't sure if it was a dark. It is a black. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're
you're navy. We got the dark tones.
The light was hitting us home. I'm always dark
tones. We're
tones.
not contrasting.
No, we're not. We're not. Definitely
Nobody
not.
gets too bold with the color here when it's the two of us.
No, I'm black, blue, and gray.
There you go.
I know. People make fun of me all the time, and I'm like, this is what I do, and it's simple and easy, and I'm not that smart.
And get used to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Quarterback number 16. What do you got?
Quarterback number 16, Kirk Cousins. Minnesota Vikings.
16 last year as well?
16. Was he 16 last year as
think
well?
he was,
Again,
yeah.
I haven't looked at my list from last year a whole lot here either way. Oh, look at that. I love some of these pictures because I look at the throwing positions at times, and things jump out just there. But here, I think the first thing I'm going to start out with Kirk Cousins is the ultimate system quarterback. I mean, we're talking about the ultimate system quarterback, a guy that if the system is really good and creative, and you give him and can teach him answers and checks and balances, he will take advantage of every fucking bit of it. He really will. Oh, you taught me that the square root of 64 is 8, and I'm going to know that this guy here is 4 inches away from where it usually is, and that means it's cover 4 and cover. He'll be all over that, and he's going to dissect you and kill you that way. So that's where he's very special in that aspect. And then adding on to that, his ability, I think that also makes him special or really damn good is there is no hesitation in his game when he sees it and knows what he's looking at.
Conviction is huge.
It is, right?
Yep.
I mean, you could tell in his game just as far as his ability to read and react and pull the trigger and throw it's up there with the top guys in football. When he knows what he's seeing, oh, wait, I play action pass. Oh, wait, it's the coverage I thought it was still. And he can diagnose where guys are and let it rip as good as anybody in football. So that's where he is special.
Yeah.
And he's smart that way. He's pretty accurate thrower.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. He's a very good down the field thrower. All right. And yes, like you said, he's very accurate. I mean, if you're open 10 yards over the middle, 5-yard slants, whatever, he's going to put it on the money for the most part. It's the sexiness that lacks with Kirk Cousins, and that's where maybe the negatives are.
I thought he missed a chance, and if you really know the Vikings, maybe you could argue the Vikings missed a chance, but there was that season 2 years ago where he was still new in Minnesota, coming off the time in Washington where he was good more often than he was average.
Right.
So, okay, let's see now in Minnesota. They gave him a lot of money. It's a better team.
Right.
Giant numbers, around 70%. Touchdown to interception ratio, great.
Yes.
Make the playoffs, win a playoff game.
Yeah, beat the Saints.
So, okay, you can win a playoff game with Kirk Cousins. Right. The last 2 years since then, it's been 500-ish, a lot of good numbers, but the team not winning a lot. So I was really ready to see him, okay, maybe this is a top 12 quarterback.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of stayed the same.
You're piling on my point. That's what he is, though. He's really good, but there's a support system and some things that need to be in place for him to go to that next level of the team. He's not going to be the guy that's going to go, hey, we're an 8-8 football team. Don't worry, I'm the man. We'll go 10-6 because I'll pull a few rabbits out of my ass and a few magic tricks, and we'll make it work this week. Yeah, that's where he's a little different than guys we're going to get to next week and stuff like that.
I popped in one game and watched it, and I wrote this down, Chris. Tell me what you think. Yeah. Not going to hold the team back. It's a compliment to a lot of starting quarterbacks.
100%.
Not going to take him to the next level. Too bad he's not on a good team.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is, And I think that's where, you see, like, the love affair McVay and Shanahan have with Kirk Cousins, because they're those guys we're talking about.
System.
I got a system. If you just fucking listen to me, we'll move the ball up and down the field all game long.
New system now. What do you think?
Right. Well, that's going to be interesting. Zimmer, though, I think wanted a little bit more of the playmaker and a little bit more, I want to run the ball and play defense, and then we'll take some shots down the field, and then I just need you to make a few plays every now and then. And I don't think Zimmer really ever loved Kirk Cousins. I don't know that, but in my heart of hearts and things I've heard, I think I'm probably true. Okay?
Good one for you right here.
Yeah, go ahead.
On this topic.
Right.
At Red and Purple 77 wants to know, do you think Kevin O'Connell will take Kirk Cousins to a new level?
I do. And I think it actually plays perfectly what we were kind of going on to say there. Yes, because I think that the O'Connell, and again, we'll see. I mean, this is the first time really play calling, offensive game plan, everything's going to be on his plate. But this is a very smart guy. I know that. And he's been taught by some people who really got some good systems, to where I would think this would line up to what we're talking about, where O'Connell's going to be able to bring some creative ideas and some things to the table that Kirk Cousins didn't have at his disposal the last few years. And he's going to go, oh, damn, okay, right? You just teach me and what you want me to do. What do you want me to do here? Teach me what you want to do. What's the check you want me to get to? Okay, we'll carve them up. And I would think that's going to happen, along with some of the talent they have at receiver and their ability to run the ball. Mm-hmm. And then you got a guy here in O'Connell that's coming from McVay, who's, we know, a great play-action pass game designer as well. I think that suits Kirk Cousins, So all of that, I think, is going to be a positive. No doubt about it. But the big thing is like you said, Kirk Cousins is not going to make plays to get the team over the hump if they're struggling all the time or if we got a few injuries. He's more than a game manager. But that's, I think, the biggest thing. And then when he wants to step on that's another thing I'll say. He has a good arm, right? It's kind of the same throw every throw. It's kind of like he has one pitch is what I would say. It's kind of like he's kind of got 94 down the middle,
right?
And that's about it. It's never going to be 100. It's never going to be sidearm. There's none of that. He's not very good at that department. You don't ever see sidearm. And even though he's tough as hell in the pocket and will make throws with people bearing down on him, he's not very good at throwing when, oh shit, I can't step into it. Or I got to lean on my back foot and just flick a ball 20 yards to the sideline. That's not going to happen with him. He needs a little space. He's got a little bit of a long delivery like we saw in the picture in the lead up to the countdown here. And because of that, he can't make some of those special throws we talk about.
Which makes me think about the guy O'Connell just had in Los Angeles and Matthew Stafford. Offense that worked extremely well with that kind of talent. Can he bring that offense with knowing that Cousins doesn't have the same arm strength?
Yeah.
But he's not afraid to cut it loose downfield.
Right.
And he's been pretty good downfield.
Yeah.
So can he plug and play the same offense or no?
No, not totally. Not far off, though. I do think that Matthew Stafford brings a few pages to the playbook where you go, this is only a number of guys in the league that I can call this play for here. I mean, how many times did we see Matthew Stafford roll right this year and throw a post back across the other side of the field?
A lot of examples.
So that's where, and not to say Kirk Cousins can't do that stuff, but Matt Stafford can launch it and be falling down or sidearm or having something, have not even his whole body into the throw and still do that. That's where he's a little different. But he's it's funny. One of the things I wrote down here as I'm going through my notes a little bit is he's aggressive, but he's not aggressive at times. He's aggressive when he needs to be. But the one thing, there was a few times during the year where I looked at games. I would even go to the Dallas Cowboy game where they lost during the regular season with the backup quarterback for the Cowboys playing, where it's like he was like, wait, there's no Dak Prescott, so I'm not going to push the envelope on anything. We'll win ugly. And that there's some of that through the year there where you go, wait, no, we need you to make the play to jumpstart the things here. You're making the $30 million.
Yeah.
Make the big fucking play and let's start the avalanche of offense going here.
Yeah.
Instead of, I'm not going to make a mistake. And I just think we'll win today if I kind of just be conservative a little bit. The quarterbacks that we go down the list here a little bit, and we're going to talk about one in a few minutes, where I go, they wouldn't just sit back and let that go down. They'd go, wait, our foot's kind of on their throat. We're going to fucking put it down and end this.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes where I think he manages the game a little bit too much, in my opinion.
So Kirk Cousins, 16 for back-to-back years. He's been as high as 13. We'll see if Kevin O'Connell can lift him higher in the teens when we do this again next year.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 16.
That's 16.
You ready for 15?
Oh, we're going to 15.
I'm ready for 15.
This is, controversial
It
quarterback
really is.
in the offseason here.
Yeah, big time for a number of reasons.
The mentor of mentors.
Don't call me
Oh,
a mentor.
don't call me a mentor. How dare you? Ryan Tannehill, which it's not his job to be a mentor, and he's going to be a good teammate and, put up a good example, and therefore will be, wait for it, a good mentor. Still bothers me, that whole subject. It really does. I'm going to go off on a tangent about it, actually, while we're sitting here real quick, just because, more people made a big deal about that, but nobody made a big deal that Teddy Bridgewater was basically trying to stab Tua in the back as he got signed by the Miami Dolphins. That just got no big deal. He wasn't mentoring Tua. We're just going to let him kind of be a backstabber, and we won't talk about it. Okay, cool. But Ryan Tannehill, we're going to make it like he's a bad human being. So, yep, I'm defending Tua on there. Look at that.
Yeah,
what the hell is going on here?
Let the record state.
All right, back to Ryan Tannehill.
So Ryan Tannehill, 12 last year.
Yeah.
11 the year before.
Right.
He dipped.
Right. He dipped a little bit. He had a little bit of a down year. But
Biggest
let me just start off with this.
Okay.
The guy is better than we give him credit for. That's going to be my headline statement.
I always said that for 2 years.
Yes.
This year,
yeah, okay. Well, it was a little bit of a down year. Yeah. I can certainly say
and there are good reasons for it.
That's where I think some people got to back off a little bit with Ryan Tannehill too.
Yeah.
I do. Like with Baker Mayfield, the guy was fucking hurt almost the whole year. Ryan Tannehill, who did he have on his team for most of the year to throw to?
You go back to that year, you had him 11th,
right,
just 2 seasons ago.
Right.
His top 3 pass catchers,
yeah,
they're all gone.
I know.
All of them.
Right.
The offensive coordinator, gone.
AJ, look, here's to your point. Again, yes, it's not as efficient or as big plays, or, of course, the pass protection wasn't as good. And, Derrick Henry was playing, and A.J. Brown was healthy for most of the year. This past year, he had A.J. Brown, who was hurt a number of weeks, Julio Jones, who was almost non-existent for the year, and then a bunch of no-names at receiver. Yeah. And then you lose Derrick Henry. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's going to lead you to, maybe I'm going to force the ball a little bit and try to make a play happen when I shouldn't. And that would probably be the downfall of his year, as he let some of that, I think, affect his game to a degree. I will say physically, again, I'm nitpicky here. Do I think he lost a mile per hour or two on his fastball? Yeah. Yes, I do. Does Ryan Tannehill need a system like Kirk Cousins? Yes, I do. He does need a system, but he can bring something to the system too. This is, to me, where he separated from Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
Right. Like where we talked about Kirk Cousins can throw the ball, people bearing down on him, but he still needs space. He's not going to be able to do it off the back foot or sidearm or whatever. Tannehill can do some of that. First off, Tannehill can throw off his back foot and still throw a 20-yard in cut down the middle, and you're being like, man, he had no room, and he couldn't step into that. It looked like he was like a T-Rex and still got it there, like with no arm or anything.
Throws on the move well, too.
Yeah. Exactly right. So there's something else, like he has an advantage over Kirk Cousins, let alone can get on the move, and if nobody's there to throw to, can turn it upfield and run for 30, 20 yards. He won some games this year, and helped them win some games with some big runs that way. So that's where I say, and within the normal rhythm of the system, this is another thing. I'm comparing him to the guy that was behind him, just because this is tight here. These guys are good quarterbacks. Is Tannehill makes more big plays within the rhythm of the system more. Like, here's a play, right? And we want you to look to the out route to the left. And then the second read's going to be an in cut coming over the middle. And then really the third guy might be another shorter in cut coming over the middle. And then the fourth guy on the outside's running a deep post, right? More times than not, guys never get to that deep post.
He can get there.
Tannehill's a guy that can get there, or just goes, oh, wait, as I'm dropping back, oh, man, coach told me a few weeks ago, if we run this play and we get this coverage, that post might be there. He will do that, where I would say, like, Kirk Cousins is like, he'll hit some deep shots down the field, but he knows he's throwing it deep. It's like play action, and it's Jefferson and Thielen going deep, so he's ready to throw deep. Tannehill obviously can do that, but Tannehill also makes more big throws, I think, within the normal rhythm of the offense than Kirk Cousins does.
You've done a nice job of pointing out the detail of why he's 15 and Cousins was 16.
Thank you.
My question, how much did the playoff loss and the playoff performance with the 3 interceptions picked on his first play, how much did that have to do with where he is?
Well, it didn't, but I think it was more of a a microcosm of maybe the whole year a little bit, where, I think the injuries, the Derrick Henry stuff you brought up, I do think got him to force things a little bit here and there. He didn't manage games quite the same way he had in years past. Thought he tried to force some plays and some moments to kind of get the team maybe jump-started, and didn't need to do that with his team. Like, your defense is good, and you guys still can run the ball pretty good without Derrick Henry. You don't need to throw some tight balls against the Houston Texans in the rain at home that get intercepted 3 times and you lose. I think that, okay. And the other thing that I think the Bengals game was a real thing with, when I went back and watched the throws, he has a little issue of he will stare down receivers. There's no doubt about that.
Happened
after watching
on the
it
first
back.
and third pick, you're right.
100%. Just said, I'm going to look at this guy and I'm going to jam it in. And the third pick is exactly the thing I'm talking about with the managing of the game, where it's like they kind of had control of the game again there. Yeah. And he kind of was like, I'm going to fit this in there and win the game right now. And I wouldn't want to go, wait, they haven't moved the ball in the second half. Right. They didn't do any. They haven't been able to do anything, and you're sacking the other team's quarterback every other time he drops back.
Yeah.
It was that, to me, that was just a little off this year, let alone we know there were some other players that played really good that led to him going down a few spots than where he's been in the last few years.
I like looking at his year compared to the previous, and I think he's either hitting year 10 or 11. So this guy who's been around a long time.
No doubt.
When he came to Tennessee, didn't have huge expectations from Miami. But I think he was better than most people thought.
100%.
He was really, really good a lot of the time.
Yes, he was.
So now they're the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
They lose at home in the first round.
Yes,
he doesn't play well, 3 picks. They draft his replacement. All of a sudden, this year has a sense of urgency and a feel around it that he hasn't had.
No, I know.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing his response.
I am too. And, hopefully, they got enough talent to support him here. A.J. Brown's gone. Derrick Henry should be healthy.
How do you think he'll look without A.J. Brown?
Yeah, we'll see if that Treylon Burke
that'll have a lot to do with where he is next year.
No doubt. And especially the way they want to play ball, which is run, play action pass, make aggressive throws down the field. That's the one thing, too, we got to take into account where we don't give him credit for a little bit. He's not in a quarterback-friendly offense. They don't go in the game going, let's get Ryan in rhythm early. Let's make sure we get him 9 for 11. They're going, no, you. We're going to run the ball. We're going to play defense. We're going to beat you up physically. And then, hey, Ryan, your first 2 throws, we're probably going to go play action. You got to throw the ball 25 yards down the middle. Get in rhythm, right? In fact, no, forget your rhythm. Be in rhythm to start the game because we're coming out and do it. So that it doesn't lend itself always to great quarterback numbers and stuff like that. You got to take that into account a little bit as well. But you're right. I think that game kind of put the microscope on him a little bit. And for whatever reason, as we saw with the mentoring thing, he's a guy that people want to jump on very quickly.
Right.
And like to your point with Miami, that just should have never been. He played really well in Miami.
More times than not.
He really did. And what did people expect with that team down in Miami, that they were supposed to be so good? So, I think those are the things. Can still be dynamic, though. Again, he can still be a pretty dynamic player. He's not going to have a lot of sidearm throws or anything like that. But like I said, he doesn't need room to throw. He's aggressive, and you said it. He makes a lot of throws and plays on the run, and then of course can just flat out run too with the quarterback design run stuff too, to where that adds a little element there. So there's some special physical things he brings to the table. And yes, I don't expect Malik Willis to be able to mess with this guy. One thing I'll say is just the clips I've seen on TV so far too. Mm-hmm. Malik Willis is smaller than people realize. When he stands next there to Ryan Tannehill, he don't look like all that special just from look-wise. You go, well, one guy looks like a stud. The other guy kind of looks, short and thick.
Yeah.
And so we'll see where that goes. But that ain't going to be like I think people think because Malik Willis was this big talk of the town, and I understand he's got a big arm. But I just, Ryan Tannehill is really good, like you're saying here. And we need to respect it, I think, all of us a little bit more.
Yeah, I had written down, I wanted to ask if any chance we see him benched from Malik Brown this year, and it sounds like
I don't think so.
Answered that question.
I think he's got to fall apart. I would imagine he would have to fall apart. And again, I would expect Malik Willis to be really raw and not necessarily the guy they want to trust to play right now. This team's ready. This team could go to the Super Bowl. I mean, their defense is going to be, I think,
check out those early
maybe
games.
Better
At the Bills.
Yeah.
Week 2, Raiders, Colts. And Commanders, I mean, that's and then a bye.
Yeah.
Pretty good schedule.
It's not a bad schedule, no doubt. And, you look at their division, and them and the Colts are clearly the two better teams than compared to the other two, to where you think, damn, Jaguars and Texans could very easily be 4 wins right there.
Yeah.
I expect Ryan Tannehill to have a better year than he did last year, and I think the Titans are, Mike Vrabel and company, they're to me, they're on the right track. They really are, and they'll be a pain in the ass with Ryan Tannehill at quarterback this year.
Chris is a pros move for just kind of mentioning the Colts and the AFC South there at the end of your analysis.
Didn't even mean to.
As we put Ryan Tannehill to bed at 15, look who we find at number 14.
Look at who we got here. Matty Ice. Matt Ryan, the new quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts. Number 2. Because of Chris Simms, he was like, damn, that's my idol. Let me wear number 2.
I didn't even think of that.
Yep, that's not true. That's a lie. But, man, I got a lot of respect for Matt Ryan. I think here's the first thing that I'll say, because I'm trying to make like a banner statement to start off with each guy, right?
Yep.
You don't realize how good he is until you turn on the fucking film. That's the one thing y'all say. You just don't really, really realize the little things he does and the nuances he does until you really – sit there and go, let me just watch film and watch him. You can get lost sometimes because you're watching a game on Sunday and you're just going, oh, he got sacked, or, oh, that was a 10-yard completion, great, blah, blah, blah. And you don't realize that, oh, shit. I mean, he made a guy like miss in the pocket and then hopped, and then his feet were awkward, and he threw the ball, and like shit, nobody was open, and he had horrible pass protection. Then 12-yard gain, Atlanta Falcons.
And not many people saw.
No.
Because the last 4 years after the Super Bowl run, and they won a playoff game against the next year, the last 4 seasons, I mean, any numbers he's put up have been kind of a little meaningless.
I know.
They haven't hasn't been a big spotlight on him. So it's been 4 years in a row of Atlanta losing and him playing pretty well without a lot of people watching.
Exactly right. And the numbers aren't going to tell you the whole story. That's where people got to like back off this like a little bit. Like I've heard people on TV go, well, they only threw 20 touchdowns last year. Atlanta sucked last year. Atlanta was 7-10 for one reason. Matt Ryan.
They would have been 3 or 4 wins without him.
Exactly right. Any game that they were not totally overwhelmed by the other football team, it was a close game, and they were competitive for one reason: Matt Ryan, period. Now I know they got some ugly games on their schedule last year and some losses. They had no chance in some of those games. They were totally overrun, overwhelmed, to where I go, you could bring Superman, on steroids, and it's not going to matter. And they're not going to be able to do anything against this team with the way they are. But that's where, hey, the physical talent is not wowing, but it's better than people want to give it credit for. His decision-making and smarts and all of that is off the charts good. His movement in the pocket is at the top of the league as far as feeling the pocket, moving in the right spots, making people miss within the pocket, making the little awkward throws we talked about that maybe Tannehill or Kirk Cousins. He does have a lot of – it might not be cool like – Mahomes or Allen, but he's got a lot of throws where people are bearing down on him, and he's like this, and now he's got to throw the ball like this, and it's ugly or whatever, but it's still sidearm and getting to the spot it needs to get to. So he has so much of that, let alone, as you heard from the Colts, the accuracy is off the charts. I mean, again, if the pocket's clean and there's somebody slightly open, guaranteed completion with Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Guaranteed completion. So that's where he's really good. And
think about the
leadership.
Character upgrade.
Yes.
I mean, just for the team and for the fan base. Just,
bring it
right?
there. Exactly right.
Yeah.
To me, this is another reason where, he's 14, but damn, it's a good 14. The one thing I'll say with Matt Ryan, I feel like the last few years, and he had that great year, and you see what he can do when he's got talent and a system with him, like with Shanahan that year in Atlanta, MVP of football.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I really still think some of his best years were the years after that, because they weren't that good. The system wasn't that good, but he was making more plays with his ability than the system helping him. Yeah. And I still feel that way with him that way. And to your point, he's become a real leader. Like,
for sure.
Where there was a point where I was like, is he a little bit of a diva know-it-all guy at one point? And then like the last 3 years, all I've heard is just like Matt Ryan's taken over. He takes over the locker room. He takes over the offense. You're hearing it with the Colts right now. He has a real effect that way to where he's matured to realize, like, I'm the fucking man, and I'm going to take the team over, and we'll go like that.
Well, he's 100% an upgrade there.
Yes.
But this is always the point of the Colts discussion where I like to step in and say, this is a playoff-level team the last couple seasons.
Right.
Phillip Rivers played really well 2 years ago.
Right.
Carson Wentz didn't finish well. There were things about him he left to be desired in terms of the total quarterback, but his play was pretty good most of last year.
No doubt.
Do you really think he's a big upgrade just on the field compared to what they've had the last 2 years?
I do. Yeah, I do. I think, like maybe the physical ability is not quite at Carson Wentz's level, but of course it's not going to be, you're not going to nearly the stupidity that Carson Wentz would deliver for you at times with the fumbles and dumb interceptions. And the one thing I said about Carson Wentz the other day too is too many games where I went, man, the ball hit the ground. The ball hit the ground. And I'm going to go, man, he forced it to the first guy. The second and third guy are wide open. Like we didn't need to throw an incompletion there. It should have been 1st and 10. Right? Where that shit's not going to happen with Matt Ryan. He's not going to sit there and go like, oh, I'm going to jam it in there. I mean, more times than not, when you look at him, he throws the ball where it should go.
Yeah.
He really does. So that's where I think he's going to be better that way. I think that, he's going to give Frank Reich, I think, more confidence because Frank Reich's going to go, I can trust him. I know he's going to do with the ball. I've told him the right things and what to do and what I'm thinking when I call this play. And I think that's just going to open up the offense as well. I do. Let alone this is a guy that, again, has played and just knows how to play the game the right way. And he's a damn good player. It's one of those where I go 14, I go, damn, I can't believe Matt Ryan is at 14 in a lot of areas. But like a Kirk Cousins, the read and reacts are off the charts. A great athlete in short areas. Makes more runs for 8 and 10 yards than you think when you watch kind of break it down. Makes another guy that I would go makes a ton of plays with the normal rhythm of the offense, like we talked about with Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
Where you go, the play wasn't really designed to hit the guy 40 yards down the middle, but he read it and went through the reads the right way and still got there. And that's special because not all quarterbacks can do that. So that's and then, makes a lot of ton of plays and throws outside the offense too, like I was saying. And that's where
heading into year 15, that's a pretty good compliment.
It's amazing that he moves as good that way. Right.
I want to read you this. His best pass catchers are Michael Pittman and rookie to be Alec Pierce.
I know.
What do you think?
Well, that's the big question about the Colts, I think.
Cast around him to prop him up or to allow him to perform the way you're describing?
Yeah, it's the O-line's going to be great. The running game's going to be great, so that's going to help him for sure. Yeah. Michael Pittman Jr., I don't have much questions about him. I know he's going to be legit, no doubt. Hey, Alec Pierce, he's a rookie that I like.
Yep.
He's got a ton of talent. So I think there's enough there. And then here's, to me, the X factor.
Yeah.
Paris Campbell. Paris Campbell is a superstar. They even say that. He just cannot stay healthy. I mean, he was healthy for like 2 games last year, and he was running by everybody down the field for touchdowns. But it's has been a thing with him. And so if they can get him to also contribute, I go, ooh, wow. But if he's not there, I do want to kind of be like, do they need to add another guy to the receiver room there that's just, a little bit more of a threat, dependable. And I'm pretty sure T.Y. Hilton's still out there. I wouldn't be shocked if that happened at some point. And maybe I'm wrong, but I think I'm right.
Can't help but notice that you have Matt Ryan and the Colts just one tick above Ryan Tannehill and the Titans. Are you saying that you think this is the best team in that division?
No, I'm not. I'm not ready to say that yet. I almost look at them as kind of equals, I guess I would say. I think I'd probably still give the Titans a slight advantage. I'm a little surprised by this with PointsBet. I saw this a little earlier, that the Colts are this much of a favorite over the Titans. I'm a little surprised by that.
I figured it would be, so they're negative 115, Titans plus 145. I figured it would be like plus 115, like that close.
Right. I thought it might be that too. That's where I'm a little surprised by that, And then I think, like, to what we talked about a little earlier, these two teams clearly separate from the other two teams. Jacksonville, I do think, has talent. It's just unproven. It's young. It's like, new coach. You got to see what they got. I think Jacksonville can be a pain in the ass for sure. Houston's just got a lot of good players. They got depth and solid. But they have nothing that I look at to go, ooh, that's great. And their players are going to make some plays and really put some stress on some people that way. That's not going to happen. So, the Colts, to me, definitely one of those teams to look at in the Super Bowl window. And, hey, this guy, nobody's open. protection not great. Man, there's a lot of times where you still look at it and go, man, no one's open. Protection's not great. Well, 12-yard gain. Holy shit. Good job by him. And that lanky, awkward-looking white guy making people miss and throwing the ball down the field that way. You know? So he's a hell of a player, and he's tough as hell, too. I think that needs to be talked about as well.
Agreed.
Takes a lot of hits, and they didn't protect him worth a shit last year.
Durability is awesome.
Yes.
Now, the monitor's over here, so I haven't quite seen it. Have we seen the schedule yet, Maddie? The Colts start to the season?
Oh, yep, we gotta go. We gotta go. I'm gonna go PointsBet first, okay?
Very
and
good.
then we'll get there because PointsBet pays me $7 million a year, and I gotta make sure I read this, okay? $7 million. I wish. All right, here we go. Download the PointsBet app. All right, Paulie,
Yes,
do it.
I will do
Do it, Paulie.
Okay.
Do it. All right. If you're an eligible state, PointsBet has a sign-up offer for unbuttoned listeners that you can't miss. Download the PointsBet app. Use code NBC2K to sign up and get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. So say you bet $100 on the Titans to win the AFC South. If you win, you get $145. But if you lose, you will still get free bets worth $100. So once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Booyah. Now my rate just went up. $8 million a year now.
Throws downfield with conviction. Your reads are coming across with conviction.
Conviction, thank you.
Yeah,
Yep.
feeling it.
Yep, you know
Yeah.
me. I don't know anything but pedal to the metal.
I like the explanation, too, because that's for people like me.
Yeah, I figured. I know. I got to do that for you. And then look, there you go. You ask and you shall
there it is, Maddie.
receive.
Thank you. So, we circle back.
Yep.
I just want to point out, I mean, they start out at Texans, at Jaguars.
Perfecto.
Plausibly good. I see written down here they've lost 6 in a row to Jacksonville. Is that right?
Isn't that
They've
crazy?
lost 6 straight in Jacksonville. I never would have guessed that.
And week 1 is an issue for them.
Yeah.
They're like an issue week 1. So they got to get over the hump there. And yes, those are like 2 where you go, hey, new quarterback, team that's, on the cusp. Like, don't blow those. Because you got some tough ones coming on right after that with the Chiefs and Titans.
Titans coming
and then
up.
at the Broncos.
Yeah.
So that's not going to be easy, game 3, 4, and 5 for sure. You'd like to get that little 2-0 cushion coming out the gates there. But, yes, I expect the Colts and Matt Ryan to be a major player in the talented AFC. And
just like that, we're 3/4 of the way done.
Can you believe that?
With our little grouping today.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins, 16. Ryan Tannehill, 15. Matt Ryan, 14. Who do you see it? Unlucky, 13.
Well, yeah, you know what? And I didn't mean to do that, but the guy is kind of, I don't know if you want to say unlucky. The circumstances around him are not looking good right now, that's for sure, and that's Deshaun Watson, right? I don't know what to make of Deshaun Watson. I'm not, again, I know what Deshaun Watson is when playing and hitting on all cylinders.
It's been a year and a half.
Right. It's superstar. I know he's a superstar. I know that, but still, like I discuss with people all the time, I think people think, well, he's Deshaun Watson. He's just going to come back, and week 1, he'll be one of the 5 best quarterbacks in football.
He might not be there in week 14.
Well, that's the first thing, no doubt about it. And, that's where I sometimes going to go, like, what do people don't hear what comes out of their mouth sometimes. We see great quarterbacks miss 2 or 3 games and come back and not be good for 2 or 3 weeks. He didn't get to practice for a year. He didn't play for a year. So I can't, and then, of course, we know there's some guys in front of him that are really damn good and all of that, to where I don't know what to make of him right now.
Yeah.
Again, I know what he can be when we get back and we're grooving and all that, but when is that going to be? And in my heart of hearts, I don't think that's going to be this year. I don't. I don't think that he's going to play football this year when it's really all said and done here.
I don't think we're going to see him play this
right.
year.
And it's not helping that there's 2 more lawsuits.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
I know.
The salon, he was paying what, $5,000 for the person to set up massages for him. It's getting worse.
Yeah.
To where I just have a hard time. The NFL with the Washington stuff that's going on with the Commanders, and workplace culture and all that.
It doesn't feel like
I have a hard time that they're going to let him just slide with some easy suspension for sure.
Doesn't feel like it's going to a place where he's going to be playing a lot, if at all. And it feels like fruition is a ways away.
It does seem that way.
For the purposes of the quarterback rankings, let's say he is at some point playing this year, so we can kind of advance the conversation.
This might be a year where, like, week 8, if he is playing, or 10, like, I might need to make an amendment to the list a little bit.
But kind of in general, you always base your rankings off of how you think a quarterback will do this year.
Exactly.
Not what they did last year or 5 years ago.
Right.
So does him being 13, is that your way of saying that you think he's going to be rusty no matter when he comes back?
No matter what. Yes, I do. I just think it's again, it's
because you had him at
4.
Yeah.
I know. It's just, yes, I do. I think he's going to be rusty. There's some other guys that, like we talked about, have jumped in the conversation who are, up and worthy of Deshaun Watson level at number 4 type of quarterbacks that hurt his case here a little bit. But yes, I think that's a lot to overcome. Plus, you're going to be learning a new system. I get that. But yeah, as I was saying, Peyton Manning missed 4 weeks. Aaron Rodgers missed 4 weeks. When they came back, it took them 3 or 4 weeks to look good. You miss a year and a half of football. And again, not like you got all a training camp and all these reps and everything, and then, I got hurt for a few weeks and now I'm back. No, we haven't gotten any of that. There was no practice last year. None. 0 practice. Yes, I know he threw some footballs on the field by himself and all that. So, yeah, I don't expect him to come back and doing all that.
And he's with a new team,
he's with a new system. Exactly right. So that's not easy. Now, Deshaun Watson, when you want to go back to what I thought last year, and we can hit on that. The guy's got no negatives about his game. He's a superstar.
It's fun to watch.
He's no negatives. Yeah. He's his only negative is, as I've said, and people who have listened to me maybe the last 2 years of the rankings, is he just sometimes every play can be the last play of the game, and you want to just go down, don't take that hit, throw the ball away, whatever, because you're awesome. But in the pocket, decision-making, throwing the football, all of that is through the roof good.
Right.
And then the ability to make plays off schedule and all that, it's through the roof good. I know that. But that's, like you said, a year and a half ago, and it's been a long time since he's played football. And as I've always said, people don't respect practicing quarterback and emulating it to game-level stuff is impossible. It's impossible.
You also got to point out, as long as we're talking about what he showed last time we saw him play, yards per attempt, yards per completion, to me, say a lot about how risky you are, how courageous you are, and he was number 1 in the league in those 2 categories, which I back up to say he's a fun watch. You don't have to like or love the team he's playing on, but based off the way he plays, just a guy is hard to take your eyes off of when he's playing.
No doubt. Yeah. Despite what you think about him personally or his personal 100%. Life, what he does on the field and when he's all system go, like you're talking about, he's special. Great. He did that in a year that you're talking about with no DeAndre Hopkins, no running game, okay offensive line play, and really had a phenomenal year. It didn't end up on wins and losses. They were 4-12 that year.
Yeah.
But they were this close to winning 4 other games that they had no business being in, but they were in it because number 4. Right. But number 4's got some issues. And like I said, it's a weird one here. I know ultimately he's more talented and better than this, but a year off from football, and I don't know, maybe my thought of the fact that I don't think he's going to play football this year infiltrated me to where he made him 13 as well.
A lot to consider here. Yeah. One more thing in the Browns, if it is Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
What do you see for the Browns led by Brissett this season? If it is that way,
they're one of those teams where I think they're so good that I don't think it's going to be oh no, they're done. They're done.
So 500.
Who knows? The running game gets hot, and Jacoby can get in a groove a little bit, and make a few plays here and there and take care of the football. I do. They have the type of talent to where I go, they don't have to win just through the quarterback. They should be able to win through the run game and screens, and Myles Garrett should get a strip fucking sack for a touchdown every now and then, and Denzel Ward or Newsome should get a pick 6 every now and then, and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah should knock somebody's head off and cause a fumble every now and then. They have guys and talent on their team to where you go, they should be able to make shit happen no matter what to a degree.
Yeah.
But it's a tough situation, and you say what you want. This thing is a distraction. And that's going to play into the fact of this, too. You don't think Cleveland players, I just heard Greg Newsome and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah talk about just the Baker Mayfield OBJ thing was a little bit of a distraction in the locker room last year. You don't think they're sitting there talking about Deshaun Watson and Baker Mayfield and that shit right now in that locker room? Come on. Fuck me. Yes, they are. So that's where this is a really, really awkward, different situation. I can't remember one like it really with this type of high-level player.
And like you said, because there's so many other considerations, if he does come back, if he is playing, maybe we can revisit this and re-rank.
Right.
But right now,
either way,
seems understandable and fair.
Even if the suspension is less than, I don't think it's going to be less than 8 games. So, I mean,
I think you and I both think it's going to be quite a bit more.
I just think with the current environment in our country, what's going on around the league, the Trevor Bauer stuff, there continues to be more Watson stuff that comes out. I have a hard time thinking that the NFL won't make a point here with Deshaun Watson.
Okay, so that's our 4 for the day.
Woo, 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 woo.
Our grouping of 4.
Is this crazy?
Take a peek. I know.
This is crazy.
This thing.
We are. I mean, we're getting down the home stretch here. We're getting into the good one. I mean, these guys are good.
These guys are good.
But you're right. I mean, well, you get the top 10 in the NFL right now. And really, I mean, yes, Watson, Matt Ryan Tannehill. I mean, those are stars. They're stars. They are.
Some names that I can't wait to see if Derek Carr made your top 10.
Yeah.
You'll
have to wait and see.
Yep, it's all coming up.
You'll have to wait and see. We're getting there, though.
How about some reaction to your, we always love the reaction.
Let's do it.
To what you've rolled out there already. Okay, so homies react to the top 40. Let's start with Daniel Jones at 21. This is from @ChrisSimsQB2. This person ought to be a part of the show regularly.
I like this guy.
And he or she is. Does Daniel Jones have any elite traits? He was at number 21. He's a better than expected athlete, but does he really have top-end arm talent, accuracy, or feel for the game?
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, then what's his peak? Does he seem kind of like Kirk Cousins?
I think listen, I understand. I think yes, I look at him going, I understand your Kirk. I think he's Kirk Cousins plus in his top end, where I'd go.
You just had Kirk at 16.
Right. I think that the Daniel Jones talent can be higher than that. I do. Daniel Jones, one, is a much bigger human being than Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I mean, Daniel Jones is a big dude. People don't realize it. We're talking 6'5", 240. I mean, it's a big dude. All right. Kirk Cousins is 6'2" and 210.
Right.
And not the same human being. It's an elite trait, his size. His ability to run to what our talk about, it's real there, right?
Yeah.
Yes, his arm is not wowing, but it's good.
Enough.
It's it's as good as Kirk Cousins there. And then, his accuracy is, I think, right up there with it too. I don't think it's far off. Now, feel for the game, that's a valid question at @CSimsQB2. He needs to have a little bit better feel of what we talked about in the pocket. Don't be quite so robotic. Sure. But to me, where he's different than Cousins and has better potential is, again, he's a guy that can get out of the pocket, and you go, whoa, that was a good throw in the run. Or you go, whoa, he just ran down the sidelines for 45 yards. Whoa, he kept the read option for a 70-yard touchdown run. Like, Kirk Cousins can't do that. I know that. So I think he's a little bit more potential than Kirk Cousins. Again, Daniel Jones, I think, has a lot of things that I like. It's just, hey, let's give him a chance here with a little support and see if he can be what we think he can be. But that's a good question by @CSimsQB number 2.
Here's a question.
Yes.
Focusing on Tua at 29, Jimmy G at number 20. From Ty is me. Do you see Tua making any sort of jump this season? I see Jimmy G at 20. Can't help but think Tua's upside is above his. With a much improved offensive line, better weapons, more support from the head coach, I could easily see him being top 16 this year.
I don't think it's crazy. I don't know if it'll go. Well, it'd be interesting to see. It will be. I do think he can make a jump. There's no doubt. The comparison between Jimmy G and all that, I understand that. I do. I think really in a lot of ways, I think Tua has the ability to be really a better passer than Jimmy G.
Because of what's around him or because of his talent?
Because of his talent. Really? I do. Yeah, Jimmy G, again, the one thing that really jumped out to me when I talked about him and broke him down was, hey, yeah, there's a lot of good throws, and he's tough, and he can throw it sidearm and doing all that. But damn, there's a lot of yards and plays left on the field because of his inability to make a big throw down the field, or the guy's wide open, and it should be a 70-yard touchdown. You've heard me say this. He's got to stop and do that. Or Deebo Samuel screaming down the middle of the field, and it should be a 50-yard gain, but he throws a slant behind him, and now he's going to fall to the ground, and it's a 12-yard gain. There's a lot of that, let alone so many of his plays, like I talked about, were really what I thought Shanahan's specials. Tua has a little bit more of ability, again, to change arm angles, be a little bit more slick in the pocket and finding windows, and I think he has a little bit more athletic ability to make a few things off schedule to where, I think he could make that jump into the top 20 at least. I do think he has that type of potential. I do, but we'll see. The one thing that Jimmy G clearly has over Tua is with people bearing down on him and the pocket collapsing, Jimmy G can still stand in there and throw a ball 15 yards down the middle. And I'm not sure about that with Tua yet. There's a lot of those type of plays that go, no, I'm not throwing it. I can't see it. Or I'm just going to tuck down and take the sack. And Jimmy G would stand there and go, well, I'm going to get hit in the chin, but I'm going to make the throw, and it's going to be a completion. Those are some of the things Tua needs to be better at.
Jimmy G might be limited, but that thing he does well, stand in there and hit that intermediate route.
No doubt. It's good.
He does it extremely well.
Exactly right.
And he does it consistently, too. More Jimmy G here, comparing him with Carson Wentz at 19. This is from @GrantReceipts. Tough to put Wentz over Jimmy after Week 18 last year. Jimmy comes back, down 17-0. Both starting tackles out. The Colts would make the playoffs with Jimmy, maybe win a playoff game or two.
It's a great question. Listen, as I discussed on the pod on Tuesday, this was, really tough here. I originally had Garoppolo ahead of Wentz and then switched it, all right?
How much of that do you have where, you have it in place and you, fidget one person up or down?
This year's been less than normal.
It would be hard not to do that.
It is. Well, because, again, it's one of those things where, got it down or whatever, but then you start to get into, wait, we're doing this grouping here.
Yeah.
And I even will get a little more nitpicky. And then also I've had a time to digest it and talk about it more with, my dad or myself and just think about it a little more.
There are examples like this for every
grouping
every
almost.
1-2 group.
There is.
You could come up with one for anyone.
There definitely is. I think this was the second time I did this so far during the list. It might have been the third. I think it was the second time. But, so, to the question itself, listen, I understand Week 18 was not good for Wentz. I get that. And I know Jimmy did a lot of good things too. I get that too. It's not like I'm not trying to kill Jimmy. The question here, though, is what the Colts, would they make the playoffs with Jimmy?
I think the question is about having Wentz one ahead of Garoppolo.
Yeah.
And this person at Grant Receipts is pointing out that the Colts, lost the chance in the playoffs because of Wentz.
Yeah, I understand that. I don't quite, I'm going to blame Wentz, sure. But I also would sit there and go, Wentz didn't have the talent of the team of the 49ers around him. He definitely did not. And nor did he have Kyle Shanahan just delivering it up like, hey, here's a wide open guy. Here's a screen, and Deebo Samuel's going to be able to run 60 yards down the side of the field. We just talked about the Colts. Is there enough weapons and all that? So, there's a little difference there as far as, to me, and two, of what Carson Wentz was asked to do as compared to Jimmy Garoppolo. So that's where, again, if we go by how I'm evaluating this and we're all on the same team, we don't get the 49ers and Shanahan, all right? It's my team, and I'm the offensive coordinator. I'm average at best, okay? I'm an average offensive coordinator. Carson Wentz can run the system, to me, every bit the same as Jimmy Garoppolo, except he can make a few plays that the system won't deliver as well. And what I would say, too, is, yes, you won 2 playoff games. Okay. But damn, Jimmy Garoppolo did everything he could to try to lose them. Everything. I know, whoa, you beat the Packers? He didn't do shit and made the dumbest mistake of the game. What? And we talked about the Cowboys game. Should have been a blowout. But let them in it because he missed throws and made mistakes down the stretch. Stupid interception. Misses Brandon Ayuk wide open for a first down. It's going to put the game away. So, again, don't just go, well, they went 2-0 in the playoffs, so he's better. No.
Because they blocked a punt.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of things that went into that before we can just make those type of statements. I'm not trying to be a jerk to @Grant Receipts. I'm just, me, once you get me going, I got to make my point.
Sometimes it's hard not to.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, one more here on Mac Jones being number 18. This is from Kenny with the Coke. Okay, you got that one? All right. Does Mac Jones not get any points deducted for playing an entire game, attempting only 4 passes? That was one of my favorite scenes all year. That was awesome.
That was.
At Buffalo.
Listen, it is a weird one, my man Kenny. What is that? @Kenny Witt.
@Kenny Witt the
Coke.
Yeah.
@Kenny Witt the Coke. All right.
Story there.
@Kenny Witt the Coke. Do you got the Coke? I guess is that.
I got that right. Correct.
You did.
I did.
You did. I had to read it twice because I was like,
I know.
wait, no, not only because of you, because I was like.
Here. Yeah, Matt the W
Matt
will
the W
always be out there.
Will always scare Paul Burmeister.
I live with that.
I didn't deduct it. Again, I think even in that game, let's just go into that a little bit, where the Bills were reluctant to throw the ball early on in that game too with Josh Allen, and then they had to, and they were like, "Oh shit, he can throw through this wind. We made the wrong mistake."
Incredible. Yeah,
right. So hey, this is New England.
Yeah.
New England doesn't care.
I don't think he should be dinged for that.
I don't think so either. What I would have to say, though, then at Kenny is I'd go, but he gets points added on in the fact that they ran an offense and he was trusted more than Jimmy Garoppolo was in San Francisco or Carson Wentz was with the Indianapolis Colts. So he gets more points for that, too. And that's where I would go. That's you got to keep that into mind, too. It's a rookie quarterback who was asked to run a very intricate, tough system with not the most talented group of pass catchers and stuff around him. And a down year for their run game and their offensive line. So you got to remember that with Mac Jones, too. But I hear you. That was a good question, and that was one of the weirdest, funnest games to watch of the year, right?
Yeah.
That was
I will oftentimes, because on the East Coast, it's late when we get to the second half.
I know.
I'll go to bed, but I stayed up I was like, I wonder how few times he'll throw it.
I know. Right.
I mean, is it going to be 2?
I know.
Is it gonna,
I know.
It was a great side scene.
It was great.
All right,
we did it.
There's a show.
That's the show, as the great Paul Burmeister said.
Only 4. I'm kind of used to 5.
I know, right?
So,
it seems. I know.
We're spreading it out. I get it.
Yeah, we're getting into divisible by 4 numbers here, right?
Divisible by 4.
I don't know if that made sense, but it kind of made sense.
Yeah.
We got 12 through 9 coming Monday. Ahmed will be back. All right. We're getting into the good stuff now.
I know.
I mean, we really are.
You'll be into the top 10 by the time I see you again.
Today wasn't good, but we're getting into it's superstar category now. We're getting close to that. So thanks, Paulie. You the man.
Good to see you. Always.
Keep sending the questions. The questions were great today.
They really were. Keep them coming.
I love the homies' reaction questions to the top 40. They make me think. I want to answer those questions for you. And excuse me if I sound a little jerky sometimes when I get going. It's just me.
Just
I get
being
intense.
Himself.
I want to make my points.
Yeah.
It's not personal to you. All right, everybody out there, be good. Have a good weekend. Be safe. Paulie, you the man.
See you soon.
Peace out.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.